Hey guys, welcome
Smolder.
to
I didn't even do it. I just
Comics
said
Review. Welcome to Z's Comics Reviews, number 25 milestone. All right, we got 25.
Yes.
All right, 25 review videos. So
maybe we start
comic
calling
reviews
them
videos.
issue 25.
Issue 25? Nah, because we don't really do a whole lot of page flipping in here.
Okay.
First up, let's hit the ground running. Okay, we just kind of got off on a weird foot. We're going to start off with Batgirl number 1. This is Cassandra Cain's first solo comic run in, man, I think like 10 years, something like that, 10 or 12 years. And I gotta say, pretty damn good first start. All right, opening shots. You got the Lady Shiva, technically her mother. She's coming in. She wants her Cassandra Cain's help with something.
Okay.
And obviously, Cassandra ain't having none of it. All right, she ain't having none of it until the undead ninja assassins pop up, and that's not even a spoiler. That's part of the solicitation. Something happens.
So she went from Icane not to Icane.
Yes, exactly. Like final shot of it is like classic cliffhanger, like kung fu show. I am here for the action sequences. The story is very light.
Yes.
It's very simple. Highly recommend you picking it up anyway. All right, the story is very simple. Like I said, Lady Shiva, somebody's hunting her down. Maybe coming after Cassandra Cain too. They don't actually say whether or not they actually are coming after her.
Okay.
She's just like, you're a liar. I'm not going to do it. I'm not dealing with you. And then she's like, okay, fine, I'll deal with you. So yeah, definitely pick it up. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Opening shot, 5 out of 5. It's good. The artwork is great. Storyline is great. The action sequence is great. Definitely pick it up. Tremendous. Especially the Stanley Artgerm Lau cover. I love it. All right, we also got a couple variants available as well. Batgirl number 1 on sale now. Check it out soon. Moving on, Venom War number 4 out of a 5-issue
Horse
series.
variant cover.
Peach Momoko. This isn't the horse one.
I thought it was.
No. This is that is Peach Momoko. That is
like
Peach Momoko.
My bad.
Regale us Thunder, because I did not read this.
So this one is getting places.
It's getting places.
This is the second to last final issue. Things are heating up, man. Venom is split in 2, which kind of is in the solicitation. That's not anything spoilery, but Venom is split in 2. You got part of him on Eddie, part of him on Dylan.
So okay, so that actually explains the 2 different variant covers, Team Dylan, Team Eddie. All right.
At first off, like at the start of the whole thing, it really was like, who's gonna get Venom? Because they've been buying for Venom for a while. There's been there's prophecies, always gotta be prophecies, man. Saying like, oh, if Eddie gets Venom, then this bad thing is gonna happen. But if Dylan gets Venom, then this bad thing's gonna happen. Prophecies out the wazoo, man. And there's a crack ton of Brocks. That's not gonna be
like a multiverse
anymore.
of Brocks.
But there's you got regular Brock, the one that's King in Black right now, that's trying to get Venom. Then you got
Dylan Brock?
No, not Dylan. You got not Bear, not the red symbiote Venom guy. That's all Hulk.
Toxin?
No, not Toxin. I'm blanking on the name, but anyways, you got that guy that's technically Eddie because he's a young version of Eddie. Okay. And just his So you got that. Then, which again, this is not really much of a spoiler because everybody's figured it out. You figured it out issues before, issues back. Issue 2, they were like, oh yeah, that's him. You got another version of Eddie who was bad, who died in the future, came back and created came back here right now and made zombiotes. Okay,
so I was kind of confused on that series. I didn't know what was going on with that. I didn't even try it.
Yes. So this version of Eddie that is the big bad, one of the big bads. I'm just gonna say he is the big bad for this. He is a version of Eddie that died in the future, made a deal with somebody that can bring people back to life, and now here he is. Since he technically is still Eddie, he is a King in Black. So he's got all the things that come with it. He can control all these symbiotes and whatnot. So he attaches some of the symbiotes to dead people, which brings them back to life, but they're still dead.
Huh.
So they get symbiotes from them.
So, okay, they've actually done that in a what if, like way long ago. Like I want to say probably around early 2000s when they were starting to do what's called the Other storyline.
Yes.
For Spider-Man comics. The what if ended with Peter dripping a symbiote onto the grave of Gwen Stacy, and she came back. Like they basically did the Evil Dead thing where like bam, it was like this, like coming up out of the ground, but it was Carnage's hand. Is that what's going on here? Like,
so, sort of, kind of. Carnage is in here, but Carnage has been in the story, but he hasn't really gotten like physically involved until like the very last 2 pages of this issue, which I don't want to say like what he does, but it's just he's finally getting involved. Eddie's, Venom split in 2, things are going on. I'm still saying right now, it's a good 3 out of 5. It's a 3 out of 5.
All right.
But it's an optimistical 3 out of 5. Like it's coming down because stuff happens at the end. There's a lot of stuff that happens, like specific stuff that happens in this. That again, with my sabbaticalness, I'm on sabbatical. I'm still on the wagon. I don't want to spoil things. That's what I'm trying to reserve myself.
All right. So bottom line,
solid 3 out of 5. Art has been good as well. There's a few, not like full art pages, but there's a lot of big art pages.
Okay. I like that. I always love those things.
Where it's either like a whole page or like a big like 2/3 of the page art. It's very nice. Very nice stuff.
All right. Yes. So 3 out of 5. Venom War 4. Venom War number 4 out of a 5-issue series. Moving on to Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
The longest superhero name in existence.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
It is pretty long. It's one of the longest I've heard.
We gotta research this. But Negasonic Teenage Warhead. This is actually a one-shot filled with Marvel's Infinity Comics. This is available for people who like having the comic in their hands. Like me. Like I don't really.
Exactly.
I prefer holding the physical.
It is cool being able to see all this stuff online, but there's just nothing like.
Plus the smell, all right? The smell of comics, I love it. Anyway, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, number 1. The art is great. Story is kind of rushed, but for an Infinity comic, I kind of expected that. What goes on in here is really weird. It opens up with Negasonic Teenage Warhead, or Emily. That's her, the government name. And Wade Wilson, Deadpool, taking out some, like, people hunters. And it's just going through how she just has this nihilistic view on life and all that stuff. The artwork's pretty good, pretty solid. The writing is it's great. It's funny. There's cameos out the wazoo in this comic. Random Avengers, random spacefaring superheroes, mutants, all kinds of stuff. And bottom line is, she's on the run from the TVA for something that she chose not to do. And by choosing not to do that one particular thing, she has, in essence, changed a fixed point in time, which theoretically is not possible by any.
Fixed.
Exactly. All right, even Doctor Who, even the Doctor says it. All right, you can't change a fixed point in time. Well, she did, and she incurred the wrath of the Time Variance Authority. And in order to fix it, she has to find her version of Yukio, which has never been shown in a comic before. Which I thought she was. I thought she was supposed to be Yo-Yo or something. I
don't know. I know she's appeared like 2 different times in different Fox movies.
Yeah, but according to a bunch of the solicitations, this is the first time she's shown up in an actual comic. I guess like her version is different. I don't know. But
is this version of Negasonic have the same powers like she has in the Deadpool movies?
She actually has a very different power set in here. She's a precog, and from what I'm able to gather in this one, she is able to pick a timeline where she has a different power set, thereby creating reality-altering powers. So she has the ability to choose which power set that she wants based on whichever timeline she tries to work towards.
Yes.
Because what she sees as a precog is not a set like line. It is like several paths. You ever seen that meme where it's like, you know, the dark and scary tower over here and the happy-go-lucky village over here?
Yes.
That's basically what she does.
Ooh.
And that's how I was explaining here. But yeah, definitely pick it up. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Okay, 4 out of 5. I hope I see more of this. I want to see more Infinity Comics with this version of Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Yukio, Wade, all that stuff, Deadpool. And I'm just like, it's a really good story. It's really funny. Like, really, really funny.
Interesting.
So definitely pick it up. Negasonic Teenage Warhead #1 on sale now. All right, moving on to
DuckTales.
DuckTales. Woo!
Yes!
All right. This one, it's exactly what you want in a DuckTales anything, okay? All right. If this was on TV, I'd watch the heck out of it, okay?
That's a lot of DuckTales.
Huge nostalgia trip, okay? Especially if you watch the original DuckTales or read the original DuckTales comics. The art just evokes that childhood, like, feel-goodness, you know what I mean? The story, great setup for hopefully a world-spanning adventure with the Duck family, Scrooge McDuck and the 3 boys, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
One of them was supposed to be Turbo.
Exactly. Could have been Turbo. He could have been Turbo. I gave it a very optimistic 3 out of 5 because the reason it's not like 4 out of 5, the reason it's not a higher number is because it doesn't push any boundaries. It doesn't try to go any further than what we've already been comfortable with, and that's not a bad thing. I'm here for this series. Okay. Definitely waiting for the next few issues. I hope everything gets ramped up. The artwork, like I said, is great. It's the whole design just screams classic or vintage Disney. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. Definitely pick this up. DuckTales #1 on sale now from Dynamite Comics. And the one that you have all been waiting for. Screw these guys.
We didn't even do Ultimates.
We didn't even do Ultimates. Oh, yeah, we didn't do Ultimates. But did you want to do Ultimates? We'll do Ultimates.
I can talk about it for a little bit. Just a little bit. Just
go grab it.
Just in case.
I got one back there. Go ahead and grab it.
Coming back.
All right. That is why I have this empty one.
Ultimate. Here we go. See, we knew we had. We knew we had something.
Ultimates #6.
Yes, this one really does. Like, this thing picked up. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, you said you gave it a very positive review earlier.
There's stuff in this that, like, all I'm gonna say is just to, like, again, try to keep myself from spoiling too much stuff. There is a fight in this, but I don't even want to classify it as a fight because one side just gets absolutely dog walked. Like, just straight bodied, man. Waxed.
So it's not a fight, it's a slaughter.
Hey, yes. All right. Because
would you label it as a smashing?
Oh, yes. These guys get smashed, crashed, fisted.
Don't say that.
Well, once you read the story, you'll understand why I said fisted.
I know why you said it. Just don't say that.
Okay. Well, look, this is like, fist me. There we go. So... Anyways, getting back on track here.
Getting back on track.
Get back on track here. Yes, this story, I'm giving it 5s, bro. 5 out of 5. Because
5 out of 5.
The whole thing, like, you get introduced.
Is it because it takes 5 fingers to make a fist?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be. But, like, the whole, like, you finally see, even though we've seen him in other issues, we finally get full interaction with the ultimate version of Hulk. And, like, this man is just, whoo, man, he is brutal. He is incredible. Like,
is he savage?
Not necessarily savage. Like, he says a lot of savage things, but, like, the man is like, the vibe he gave me, not just because he's bald in this, but straight up seemed like Michael Clark Duncan Kingpin Hulk person. Ooh. Like, dude, sophisticated. Like, his talking is just like, when I was reading this, for some reason, it just popped in my head. I imagined Michael Clark Duncan saying everything he was saying. And
man, that's like, high praise, man. Michael Clark Duncan was a GOAT. Michael
Clark Duncan was amazing. But yes, like, unbelievable. The ending to this, too. There is an ending in this that got you like, oh, some I don't even want to say that because that's gonna be thing. But still, yes. Bottom line, 5 out of 5. It is a smashing time. It's tremendous. I mean, this is a team that has Thor and Sif on it, and they straight just get demolished.
Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, when the trade comes out of this, I gotta read it.
Yes.
When the trade comes out, I definitely gotta read it.
It is getting there.
All right.
Next issue, I'm excited for.
Ultimate's right. Ultimate's number 6, gave it a 5 out of 5. High praise. Now moving on to the one that you have all been waiting for. Absolute Superman number 1.
Yes.
Okay, now the Absolute Universe has been just kicking
tremendous.
Straight ass,
Yes.
all right? It's just been great. Absolute Batman number 1, fresh take. Absolute Wonder Woman number 1, fresh take. Just amazing reiterations of the characters, right? Absolute Superman number 1 does not disappoint.
Yes. We will now. Both of us have said we will agree. Absolute Batman is up there. It's number 1. Absolute Wonder Woman is kind of like maybe like right here. It's still great. It's like right here. Superman, just a little bit above it. It's definitely.
I think that the only thing, in my opinion, that elevates it above Wonder Woman is the artwork.
Yes.
Okay.
I do like the artwork.
Just because of the artwork, the interior artwork is just to me a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit better,
which is kind of funny because like interior artwork, yes, I give it to Superman over Wonder Woman, but like the cover artwork, I'm giving it to Wonder Woman. Something just a little bit off with the.
I don't know. I think it's just Jim Lee's style on this one. Didn't really.
Jim Lee works great for Batman and seemingly Wonder Woman. But something just seemed off with.
I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't feeling it that day. But anyway, now to talk about the comic itself. Obviously, 5 out of 5 because you've heard us. We gave Batman a 6 out of 5. Wonder Woman, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Obviously, this is going to be a 5 out of 5. But let me tell you why. All right, the artwork is amazing. Okay, like I can't sing its praises enough. The storyline, the story, characters in the story, backdrop of Krypton, all of it has changed. Like there is almost no recognition to Clark Kent as a character at all. Okay, that is not a bad thing.
You just get a little glimpse of the farm. That's it.
Yeah,
just a little glimpse of the farm.
That's not a minus in this story. Okay,
not bad at all.
The new backstory for Krypton. Obviously, there's class wars. There's layers, like class segregation, all that stuff, and they just play it up. I mean, there was always class segregation on Krypton in the other stories, but this is even worse.
Like, it's straight up.
There is only like a two-part system, and
even getting demoted brought down a class because you wanted to be a little different.
Exactly. Like you're. We'll let you read that because we're trying so hard not to spoil this at all. Because for the first issue, there is a whole lot of story.
There's a lot of backstory given.
Yes, there's a lot of backstory given while showing almost no characters.
Yeah.
So and that works because it just completely fleshes out the universe that is being built in these first few issues. There's twists on old characters. There's change-ups to lore, and rather than and this is not a spoiler. This was in the solicitation. Rather than being raised on the Kent farm or anything, Kal-El was actually already in his he was around
a good like
6 between 6 and 8, I think.
Yeah, just like
so he enough to know some stuff.
He was forming sentences, talking, had relationships with the family.
Yes, so he is a character that can remember his time on Krypton.
Yeah.
And he's accompanied by some sort of AI suit that tries to protect him, tries to help him out. In here, I'm not entirely sure how his powers work. Obviously, there is a solar element to them.
Solarness.
It's not clear whether or not it's in him or if it's the suit. So that one right there is a little unclear at this point. For it being a number 1, kind of obvious. We're not going to know. I'm kind of thinking
they might go like half and half. Some of these things you'd be seeing like in his eyes.
Yeah,
his eyes glowing. So I think they might go a route where like, okay, it's half and half. Like half of the powers maybe to him, and
maybe the suit's there to help regulate them or something like that.
Regulate, enhance, possibly.
They
go a Thor route in the movie where it's like, oh, it's not necessarily the hammer giving you your powers. You already have your powers.
Like a conduit or something. Maybe that could be there. That's right there. Speculation. We're just like we're excited about this because it's just such a damn good story and damn good start.
Absolute is doing great.
Yes. All right. So like the Absolute Trinity have each had their number ones release, and they're all bangers, man. They really are. 5 out of 5. Absolute Superman number 1. Art, amazing. Story change-ups, the lore change-ups. A lot of people may not be excited for the change-ups, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm feeling it. I love Superman as a character. Okay.
Yes.
This is good. This is damn good. I highly recommend you pick this up. Absolute Superman number 1. 5 out of 5.
Still and the feel of Superman.
It does still have that feel of Superman.
That's like what I say with different changes of adaptation. Sort of like with when I talk about Lord of the Rings a lot with people. I'm like, look, the book Lord of the Rings and the movie Lord of the Rings, there's some changes there. A lot of like the diehard Lord of the Rings fans don't really like it a lot because they changed a lot of stuff. But the important thing is the feel. Give you that feel. If as long as it's the feel of it, you can get away with changing things up.
Yeah.
And this is what, like, yes, like every single one of these Absolute iterations I've seen, they change it, but they still give you that feel. Still the feel of it, which I like.
Exactly. Well, like going back to the creation of the Absolute Universe, Darkseid fusing with the Spectre somehow and dying to create this universe, you would think that there would be a lot more despair and dread among the heroes or the quote-unquote heroes of these universes, but at its core you still got Batman as the no-kill rule, trying his best to save Gotham or like deal with corruption. You got Wonder Woman, who was literally raised in hell as the Princess of Hell by one of the most evil witches in DC history, Cersei. And then you have Superman, who knew his family, who knew all this stuff and came from a dying world, from a dead world, and he knew all of this, and they each still have their own version of hope. They all still have that little glimmer left in them. And that's pretty cool.
See, from what I got from reading the little like one shot that they did with that, Darkseid wasn't necessarily saying I'm creating a world without these people. He was like, for some reason, even though Superman still lost all his people, Batman watched his parents die, Wonder Woman's got all the stuff that happened to her.
Batman's only lost his dad.
No, I was talking about like in good reality. He's like, even though their lives have been hard, Darkseid, when he was making his thing, was like, hasn't been hard enough.
Oh, damn.
That's how I got it when he was creating this. Was like, I know they're going to exist, but for them to exist, I want them to have gone through even more hardship.
Damn. I got to reread that. Because
that's how I was thinking. That's how I was kind of seeing it.
So he didn't make Apocalypse as a planet. He made Apocalypse as an entire universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his whole thing. And
so so that makes these stories just even better to me. But yeah. Definitely pick it up. Absolute Superman number 1, 5 out of 5. DuckTales number 1, 3 out of 5, but a very hopeful 3 out of 5.
Yes.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, one shot, 4 out of 5. Definitely pick that up if you want a good laugh. Yes. Batgirl number 1, 5 out of 5. Good action sequences, clean art. And like if you have mother issues, that's a pretty good one to let your anger out on too.
Venom 5 out of 5.
Ultimates number 6, gave it a 5 out of 5. Smashing end to the first story arc.
Yes.
Venom War 4 out of you gave it 4 out of 5, right?
Venom War I gave 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
But it's like optimistic 3 out of 5. Cool.
All right. So thanks for watching, and if y'all guys like the Rantings Ravens 2 Madmen, give us a like, follow, subscribe, share us with your friends, and we will see you guys next week.